Hello and welcome to the presentation on how to have food freedom. My name is Tanya Rangavich and it's my pleasure to be here with you today as I go over the steps on how to overcome overeating, lose weight, get off that diet yo-yo cycle, and now feel proud of your body. So who is this presentation for? Well, it's for anyone who does have a problem with overeating, you're yo-yo dieting, and actually you're just generally obsessed with food and your body. You're now struggling to maintain your weight, lose weight if you have to, and you now find that this pattern is affecting every other area of your life. So, if you are worried that food has control over you, then this presentation is for you. So during the next 45 minutes, what I'm going to go over is how you are going to be able to free yourself from this pattern of binge eating, yo-yo dieting, and no longer feel as though you're controlled by food or constant thinking about what you've got to eat and what you should be eating, what you're not allowed to eat. I'm also going to go over how you can now start eating foods that you love. Start eating with enjoyment again, if you can remember what that feels like. Trusting yourself around food, and no longer feeling as though you've got to eat the same thing day in and day out in order to be in shape or in order to lose weight. I'm also going to go over how you can now overcome the embarrassment and the shame that we often carry of not being able to maintain our weight, of the overeating, and also on how to get over the guilt and that self-punishment and self-loathing that you feel every time you do overeat. I'm also going to go over how you can now learn to be kinder to yourself, especially once you start developing a stronger sense of self-worth and self-respect. It's about learning how to reclaim your self-worth back. And as a result, you start taking better care of yourself in other areas of your life. For example, just basic self-care like massages and taking care of your physical and emotional health. Also, self-care when it comes to relationships, and maybe self-care when it comes to you and relationships, and learning not to tolerate what maybe once upon a time you would have tolerated. I'm also going to talk about how you can now start seeing a different future for yourself. Once you've overcome this problem, once you've lost the weight that you need to, and start trusting yourself again. For example, you may be thinking, I don't believe I can ever get there professionally or launch this career that I want or this business, or I'll never have the relationship that I want, or I'll never be able to save money because I keep spending it on food. I keep wasting so much time being obsessed with food and my body. During the next 45 minutes, I'm also going to talk about how once you have reached your goal weight, solved this problem once and for all, you're now going to have this deep belief in yourself. You're going to be able to trust yourself that you will be able to maintain your weight with complete confidence that you're not going to go back into those old habits of overeating, sneaking food, binging, whatever it is. It will be over once and for all. My promise to you during this presentation is I'm going to go over this easy step-by-step guide on how you can finally overcome overeating and stop this yo-yo dieting, the obsession, get healthy, feel proud of your body, and more importantly, get excited about your life again. Before I do that, let me just see if any of these sound like you. Do you feel that you are stuck in this cycle? It's a cycle of dieting, losing weight, and then binging again. You find that you've lost weight, but then you gain it again. You're totally obsessed with food. You're obsessed with your body to the point where it's now affecting every other area of your life. Do you secretly eat when no one else is around? Perhaps it's at night when you're alone. And then you become so guilty and angry with yourself because you still feel so out of control when it comes to food. Do you struggle to get through a day, a simple day, without turning to food to help you get through? Do you find that this problem with food and your obsession with your weight, it's affecting your intimate relationship? because you feel too self-conscious about your body. You don't want to show your body. You don't even want to enjoy your own body. Do you want to perhaps be in a relationship? Maybe you've been alone for a while. However, your weight and the way that you eat, it's getting in the way. You don't want anyone else to see what you do with food. You don't want anyone else to be in your life because you need to be in control of your food so much. Are you finding that your physical health and your emotional health is now being seriously affected because of the way you are eating, because of your weight, and because of this dangerous cycle that you are in? Have you lost weight before? Felt proud for a few minutes, however, you find that it doesn't last. You've lost your weight for a short while, but then something happens and then you start self-sabotaging, or you don't know how to keep the weight off, and before you know it, you're back repeating that same pattern over and over again. Is your job or your business at risk? Because you're just not able to show up the way you know you can and perform as you are expected to perform. If you've got your own business, are your customers being affected because you can't deliver? If you've got a high-powered job, are you finding that emotionally and physically you're just not showing up because of this problem that you've got? Do you find that no matter what you do, how good you are when it comes to food and exercise, that voice goes on and on in your head that you're not enough, that you've eaten too much, that you don't have control? Who do you think you are? You know, that voice that goes on and on in your head. Do you feel that your eating patterns, the way that you eat, the way that you feel about your body and food and your weight, it's having an enormous effect on your entire life right now? So if you've just related to any of those things that I've just talked about, the good news is that they're actually not the real problem. The real problem is that you haven't made those deep internal shifts in your life. Once you get to the point where you have had enough of this problem and the way that it is affecting your life, and you make the decision that now is your time, and you make these shifts in your life, then everything will change. The truth is that once you make them, you will start to enjoy eating again. You'll actually enjoy food. Foods that maybe you've not allowed yourself to eat, but things that you love. And you're going to be able to do all this without having this anxiety on whether you've eaten too much. Have I gone over my calories? Have I stuck to my food plan? If I go out tonight, will I overeat? Also, once you make these shifts, you're going to know what it feels like to wake up in the morning and your head is clear. You haven't got this remorse of having binged the night before and carrying that shame and guilt into another day. Also, you are now going to develop a deeper self-respect and confidence for yourself. You will start to take care of yourself on a much deeper level. You'll do things for yourself that maybe once upon a time you wouldn't have allowed yourself to do. And you're also going to learn how to say no. You'll have greater boundaries once you've made these shifts. Also, once you make these shifts, you will experience what it feels like to be truly intimate in your relationship on a much deeper level, because you're not going to want to hide yourself away. You're not going to want to hide your body away or secretly eat. You'll be out in the open about everything, and you will know what love really feels like. If you want to be in a relationship, then you are not going to stop yourself from putting yourself out there with confidence again and attracting the right kind of person. Also, once you make these shifts, you're going to have a lot more energy and motivation simply to show up in life, to show up and be present with people, family, friends, social occasions, at work. You're not going to want to isolate yourself again and hide away because of the shame and the guilt. Also, once you make these shifts, the obsession with your body is no longer going to dictate how you live or having to stick to a diet. You are going to be able to say yes to life because you don't feel you've got to stay home in order to stick to your food plan rigidly. Also, you're going to get in shape. You're going to want to be in shape. And once you get in shape, you will now feel proud of your body. The thing is, you would have changed from the inside out. And so you are no longer going to be worrying about whether you're going to go back into those old habits again and regain your weight, because who you have become will be different. Now, before I go any further, let me just take a moment of your time to properly introduce myself and let you know why you are going to get value out of listening to this presentation today. Well, as I've already said, my name is Tanya Rangavich. Now, I am a speaker, I'm an author, and I'm also a personal and business mentor. Now, it didn't start there for me. Actually, I'm an accountant by trade, and I spent many years coaching and consulting people as an accountant. But as life went on and I had many issues to deal with, this being one of them, my major issue with food and body, I decided to actually go and study to be a therapist, to be a life and business coach, and I also threw personal training in there because I've always been a lover of being strong and in shape. Now, I've got a number of specialty areas, but of course this one is having sustained weight loss and finally taking it off once and for all, not just a quick fix diet. So it really does amount to personal transformation, because the transformation goes quite deep, inside and out. Now, I'm a master of resilience simply because of the curveballs that life has thrown to me and my ability to come back even stronger after adversity. So this is something that I teach my clients. I am also a regular contributor to a number of radio stations, and I write regularly for magazines. I'm currently writing another book, and this one is actually going to be all about my own personal journey on resilience. Now, people call me more than just a mentor, because they have discovered that when we work together, for example, in the area of weight loss, the change doesn't only happen on the outside. The change happens in every other area of your life. Now, we've all got magic moments in our life, haven't we? Well, this is one of mine when I was invited to go to California and be interviewed by the wonderful Dr. Robert Schuller after I had my first 2 books published. So this is just a magic moment that I would love to share with you. Now, let me talk to you about these shifts. Okay, what do I mean about the shifts? Well, they are the things that help you get from where you are now to where you want to be. And they are the things that I have discovered are the tools that work for lasting change. I don't know about you, but I've tried many, many things in my life to overcome this problem with overeating and my obsession with food and the dangerous cycle of dieting and binging. It started when I was 14 and I first looked at my butt in the mirror and thought it was big. Actually, it wasn't. It was a normal size. But I looked at my butt and I thought I was big, and that was when the major issue started for me. The dieting, the running, the binging, losing my period because I was too skinny, and then the binging that just erupted and went into my 20s. So over the years, over each decade, as I have worked on myself, there are some things that I have noticed that actually helped me to finally fix this problem and to learn how to live my life. And so once I discovered that these worked for me, I started sharing them with my clients. And I noticed that my clients were also getting lasting change. They were having permanent change. They were fixing problems once and for all. So these are the 5 things that I want to share with you today, because they are the things that make the difference between those people who get results and those people who did not. And the first one is, you need to make a decision. You need to get to a point in your life where you go, enough is enough, change is a must. I can't do this anymore. I cannot affect my health. I can't affect my family, my spouse, but most importantly, I cannot do this to me anymore. It means that you are now ready for change. There's no time like now, right? Drawing that line in the sand. Change is a must for you. You have to be ready and willing to do whatever it takes now to save your own life. And it is about saving your own life. So the thing is, it's about asking yourself, what's it going to cost me if I don't do this right now? If I don't finally say yes to life and yes to me, if I keep binging, if I keep on these crazy diet cycles, whatever it is that's happening for you, how is life going to be for me in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months? How much money am I going to waste again? So it means asking yourself some big questions. Okay, how is life for me now? Is it where I wanted to be? How's it going, my life? Do I know what I really, really want? Decide. Decide to take ownership for your life. You are the one that needs to listen to your own voice, not what's out there. Stop comparing yourself to everyone else out there. Listen to your own voice without judgment. Learn how to just be you. Learn to take extreme ownership for your own life. It starts with a decision. And yes, I know it's very easy to come up with excuses. I haven't got time. I can't do this. You don't know what my life is like. I'm going to say, yes, you do have the time. And yes, you do deserve this. You must allow yourself now the freedom to live your one and only life. Yes, you can do this. You've done many other great things in your life. Of course, you can finally fix this problem. And it's about allowing yourself to do it, giving yourself the permission to be free. What if now was your time and you're not taking it up? Say yes to you. That is the first big shift we need to make, that you need to make. This was what my client Lois did. She came to me with issues around her body and food and needing to lose weight. There is Lois on the left when we first started working together, and there is Lois on the right now who, I think she runs about 10 miles at a time now. Anyway, she made the decision. She thought, you know what, I've achieved in so many areas of my life. I've got a very high-powered job, but this is one area of my life that I just don't seem to be able to get a handle on. Let's see what else I can do. I need to make a decision to fix this once and for all. She got honest, she made the decision, and there she is now. A massive transformation. Inside and out, by the way. The reason it was inside and out was because she knew that it was time to lose it from the inside. That is the second shift. So often we try and just get the pounds off, and that's all we do. And we wonder why it doesn't work. We wonder why we self-sabotage. We wonder why it's me, there's something wrong with this diet. Change, it needs to begin within. You see, nothing changes when nothing changes. I think you may already know this. Diets alone do not work. I'll say this again. Diets alone do not work. How many times have we been on a diet and lost those same pounds, those same kilos, and then they find their way back again? And meanwhile, we are miserable, we've wasted more money, our self-worth is even lower, and actually we've probably put on a few more pounds. This is why the diet industry is growing every single year by billions, because we get hooked into the adrenaline. It feels great to start a new diet, doesn't it? But when you fail, it leads to deprivation, it leads to more shame and guilt and that belief that you're not enough. I cannot tell you how many times I joined this very famous diet company. I think it was 10 times, and I'm not rounding that up because I'm an accountant. Once I had to even put rocks in my pocket just so that I was heavy enough to join, because I was so out of control with food. I didn't know what else to do. So I'm going to invite you to not get hooked into any more quick fixes, because they're only a temporary solution. They're not going to help you solve the big problem of what comes up for you when you put the food down. To have lasting change, you change. Not only your shape, not only the number on the scale, but you change on a deep, deep level. And that is how the weight stays off. Now, you say to me, okay, this all sounds great. What do I do then? Well, it's about building this very strong personal foundation and certainty of who you are at the core. That is the answer to sustained weight loss, so that no matter what happens in your life, you are going to have so much resilience built already that when life does happen again, things happen in your day as it does, you're not going to get thrown by it. Because when you've got a strong personal certainty about who you are, your body shape will follow. You're going to then say, no, I don't want to binge. I'm not going to binge anymore. I will not do that to myself anymore. The thing is, when you get yourself together, then your whole world will come together. So I'm going to invite you. Do not start from the outside thinking a quick shift in pounds is going to change everything. I'm going to invite you to have the courage to go within, see the beauty within yourself, and then everything will change. Because if you don't go within, then eventually you go without in life. That is exactly what Vicky did. Vicky used to starve herself. She did everything to try and lose the weight from the outside. However, nothing was changing with her self-worth. It was at an all-time low. She was always putting herself down. Even when she lost weight, the weight would come back up again. However, when she started addressing the issues around why she was putting the weight back on, she lost almost 20 kg. That's nearly 50 pounds of weight in 5 months. That's because she changed inside as well as making a change to the outside. She began exercising regularly because her self-worth was now more. She felt better about herself and even had the courage to go and buy a scooter and ride the scooter. So, a diet alone won't do it. A healthy eating plan mixed with working on what's going on inside is what will make this work for life. Now, in saying that, let me move on to the third shift. Now, this third shift is all about measuring and managing the numbers that really do matter. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'm talking about the old way of doing things where we are addicted to that number on the scales. There is more to life than just the number on the scales. The thing is, what happens when we just rule our life by whatever that number means is we can so often affect all of the other areas of our life. I don't know about you, but jumping on the scales and not seeing what I want to see would sometimes ruin my entire day or have a dramatic effect on how it affected every other area of my life. I'm not sure if you relate to this. You know, jumping on the scales would lead to a binge sometimes. And then you'd get back into thinking, okay, I've got to get on a diet because that way the number will go down really fast and I will feel better about myself and my life. Or when you jump on the scales, it may get you thinking that you've got to exercise more. I've got to get out there running. I've got to do more to push myself. I don't know about you, but I used to get injured every time I got into that frame of mind. I'll never forget my first day at CrossFit. It was my last day, by the way, because it hurt so much when I injured myself with that kettlebell. Anyway, that was all because I felt I've got to find another way to lose weight. Everyone else is losing weight doing CrossFit. Or maybe you jump on the scales and you go, oh my God, this is why nobody wants to be in a relationship with me, or this is why my dating life isn't working, or this is why my intimate relationship with my spouse isn't good, because I'm not slim enough. And then you start making decisions that are just driven by loneliness and low self-worth, because you're allowing that number on the scales to dictate who you are and what you are worth. Or that number on the scale, it just drives you to feel that everything else in your life just sucks. Maybe you jump on the scales and then you start thinking, God, if only I could lose weight, then I'd be more motivated at work. I'd love my job more. Or maybe you jump on the scales and then you don't like what you see. And you just don't have the motivation to work on your business, to serve your customers. You have zero energy on the job. You don't show up with certainty, but you show up feeling like a fat person. That's the story that's going on in your head, that awful, awful critic that goes on in your head every time you jump on the scales and don't see what you want to see. Maybe you're addicted to spending. If I can't eat, then I'll just go and spend. How much money have you spent online? How much money have you spent on food? The truth is, having this problem with food is one of the most expensive habits to have. It costs thousands of dollars. And what all of this does is it keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck in that old way of dieting, deprivation, shame. And yes, whilst there is weight loss, it's controlled. And usually it's only weight loss, nothing else. There's no change inside. And life still happens. So when life happens or when work stresses show up and you go back to coping with the old way of binging, dieting, obsession. And this just leads you back into more shame and guilt and embarrassment. Especially when you gain the weight again. You just get angry at yourself and you blame yourself which then takes you back into that cycle again of dieting, deprivation. Let's look for something else that will help me lose the weight, and then everything else will be better. Well, I'm going to invite you to believe that there is a new way of doing things, one where you master resilience, because when you master resilience, you master your life. And you're not going to focus only on that number on your scale. Because when you finally make the decision to make this work, take that first shift, and then you do the second shift of taking a good look inside as to why it is that you keep going back to food and binging, you start working within, then you actually start making changes in every other area of your life. Not only the scales, sure, the scales are coming down and that's great, but when you really embrace that second shift and go, I'm going to do this once and for all, there's going to be change in every area of your life, not only the physical, but emotionally you are going to change. You're going to be emotionally fit. You're going to see changes in your finances. You're not going to be wasting money. You're going to see changes in your business, in your executive job, in your work at home. You're going to see massive changes in your relationship, your ability to show up and embrace your body in your intimate relationship. You're going to be different when you communicate in any other relationships. You're going to find more meaning and purpose in your life. You're going to delve into your spiritual life even more. Once you take that second shift, it's not all going to be about the scales. Yeah, it will be a little bit about the scales, but it's also going to be about all of these other areas of your life. So when you master resilience, you master your life and you also master your body. And you will find that you've got a new way of dealing with life. You'll have this new tool that you can use when you want to show up with certainty in your life. Learn a new way of dealing with life. Have this unshakable certainty in yourself that you've developed in the second shift. Apply it when life happens, when you feel discomfort. You go within and you go, actually, I'm not going to jump straight into the fridge and have food. I need to access what's going on for me. Ask yourself some big questions, some great questions on how to deal with this situation, and you show up and you deal with it. You don't go straight to the food because that's not who you are anymore. You have changed on many different levels, not just that number on the scale. That is not the only number that has changed. You have changed on this deep level where you now say, that's not who I am anymore. I don't do this to myself anymore. You stand up, you stay strong, and you move forward with life. That is the secret weapon of finally addressing this problem with food and your body and your weight. Now, I have talked to you quite a lot, haven't I, in those first 3 shifts. So just as a quick recap, the first 3 shifts are make the decision now. Do it now for you and for others in your life. The thing is to have lasting change. It means going within, because if you don't, then you are going to go without. And I want you to start measuring all the other results that matter, not only that number on the scale. This is a core strategy. Now, let me move into the final 2 shifts on how to have lasting change and shake this problem once and for all. The 4th shift to make is you become the expert of you. What do I mean by that? Well, I don't know about you, but after years of dieting, binging, following diet plans, you don't trust yourself anymore. You don't trust your own hunger. You don't trust your physical hunger. You do not trust yourself when it comes to food. You become the expert of you. Learn to listen to your body. Learn to listen to your intuition again. Trust yourself when it comes to life. Not any food. Not only how am I going to look after my body. Trust yourself when it comes to your life. Learn to listen to your intuition again. I'm sure that you've done it before. I'm sure you've made great decisions before when you followed your intuition. Follow your truth. You know more about you and your body, what you like eating, than anyone else does. You've just lost that art of being able to follow your intuition and follow your own hunger because you've been probably following controlled eating plans for so many years now that I don't know about you, but I used to just gag on some of the foods I had to force myself to eat in order to stay in shape. I don't do that anymore. Man, I eat everything, anything and everything, and that is the truth. And this is the gift I want for you. It doesn't mean you overeat on it anymore. It means that you eat things that you enjoy, but you eat it calmly, quietly, sitting down, the portions that your body needs. It means to remove yourself from all of the noise that is around you, even that noise that's in your head, that inner critic. Stop, learn to listen to that kind voice in yourself. Start following your instinct. Start following your stomach hunger, your body hunger. What do I really want to eat? What do I enjoy eating? So often, we have spent so much time listening to a diet plan or what an expert tells us we should eat, but it's not what we want to eat. We've lost the art of trusting ourselves. You become the expert of you. Do it now. What are you waiting for? I invite you to take ownership of your life, reclaim your self-worth, and start making decisions with certainty again in your life. I'm sure you do it in many other areas of your life, whether it be your career, your home life. Do it now for yourself, for your own body, for you. Life is too short to go through not loving who you are and listening to your own voice. Give yourself this gift. You will never want to go back once you have experienced listening to your intuition again. And once you do that, your body will gladly follow. Okay, this is Kirsten. Kirsten finally decided that she was missing out too much on life. This is a photo of her when we started working together. She knew she was tolerating too much. She knew she wasn't listening to her instincts. She knew that all she was trying to do was lose weight. But what she did was made the decision to apply all of these shifts and to say yes to her. She began working on herself as well as her body and her fitness. Here is a recent photograph of Kirsten. The transformation for her was both internal and external. This is what creates lasting change. Applying these shifts that I have just spoken to you about is what will create a transformation. Now, in saying that, I'm going to share with you now the fifth shift in saying yes to you. It's investing in your greatest asset, and that would be you. Now, I don't know about you. I have spent a lot of money on trying to be slim. But what I've also done is on my own journey of personal development and discovery is I have invested in the right mentors. I have invested in people who have got me through various stages of my life, not only in areas of food and body and learning self-worth, but also when my husband died of cancer, I got a person there to help me through that grief. When I had to learn how to date again later in life, in fact, I applied all of these shifts, in fact, on how to finally find love again. The right mentor, they will be centered on you. And eventually they become your most trusted advisor, where you are going to know each other so intimately that they will be able to support you with anything. So yes, it is important to get support from someone who knows what this journey is like, to help you deal with life, to help you deal with what comes up when you put the old patterns down. Now, the cost of doing it alone, yes, you can go and do it alone, but the cost is too great on many levels. You see, nothing changes when nothing changes. You continue to search for another quick fix, what you feel might be the easiest, softest way, which is often looking from the outside in. It doesn't work. I don't know about you, but you don't know what you don't know. Whereas the right mentor, they will help you see your blind spots, what you don't know, what you don't see. And also, the cost of doing it alone. I don't know about you, but I spent a fortune finding a quick fix. I wish I could have all that money back now, but actually it's gone. But what I did was I made the decision to stop wasting money in the wrong direction. And what also happens when you keep trying to do this alone is you continue to make decisions from a place of uncertainty. You see, you haven't applied that second shift of changing inside. You make these decisions from a place of loneliness, from a place of uncertainty and fear in both your personal and your professional life. And also, how you do one thing is how you do everything. What I notice is that my clients, once they have fixed this area of their life of overeating and finally getting in shape or getting off that really unhealthy cycle of dieting and binging, every other area of their life changes. They show up with certainty in their relationships, their job, but look, they start decluttering their homes because they've decluttered their body and their mind. Also, the cost of doing it alone, and the biggest cost of doing it alone, is that you will never get to experience your true self. You will never get to experience what it feels like to live life at your highest potential, to get unstuck, to finally reclaim your self-worth, and to live your life fearlessly. That is the greatest cost of doing it alone. This diagram of mentoring shows you the true value of mentoring because it helps you to get clarity, to know what you really want, on how to get rid of some of those blind spots, those limiting beliefs that have stopped you from losing weight, that have stopped you from getting off this cycle. There's something there stopping you. What is it? A mentor will help you see that, and they will also help you to work out what path to get there. How is the best way for you to proceed through this to get from where you are now to where you want to be? And what gets in the way often are beliefs about ourselves and our life. This is what the mentor will help you identify and eliminate if it is stopping you. Say yes to you. So at the beginning of this presentation today, I promised that I was going to show you how, once you applied these shifts, you were going to be able to enjoy eating again without shame and guilt, especially get off that cycle of binging and dieting so that you can now have self-respect and confidence in yourself, to take care of yourself, to say yes to you, to say yes to your relationship and intimacy, to show up in your life, in your job, with far more energy and motivation, to kick that obsession to the curb once and for all, to know that you can trust yourself, feel proud of your body without ever worrying that you're going to return to those old habits again. And in order to do this, it's about applying those 5 shifts, deciding that now is your time. It's about losing it from the inside out so that change sticks. Measure the results that matter, not just that number on the scale, and learn the art of mastering your instinct again. And of course, investing in your greatest asset. That would be you. These are the 5 shifts alone that have changed my life, that have changed the lives and continue to change the lives of my clients. They are enough to help you lose your weight, keep it off, reclaim your self-worth, reclaim your life. Now you have a choice. I've shared with you all of these shifts, all of the information that you need in order to finally solve this problem with food, in order to finally move forward and reach your highest potential and not be held back by the scales, not be held back by dieting and binging. I've shared with you everything that you need in order to be able to make this change in your life once and for all. Now you can grab this information and say, thank you very much. It does look a little bit scary for me. I'm not ready. I don't really want to try this yet. I'm going to try something else, something easier, something quicker. And that's okay if that is your choice. But the thing is, the truth is, nothing in your life will change, because nothing changes when nothing changes. However, if you have decided that now is your time, you've decided that you've had enough, you're drawing a line in the sand, I'm going to step up and show up in my life and not waste another precious day. I'm going to allow the true me to finally come out and shine and reach my highest potential in this world. Then this is how I can help you. I've set aside some time in my diary over the next couple of days for either myself or someone in my team to speak to you personally about how you can start applying these shifts in your life today. Now, whatever your challenges are with food, with life, I've seen it, or I have probably experienced it myself. I know what it feels like, but more importantly, I know how to overcome it. So what will happen is one of us will get on the phone with you for about 45 minutes. And on this session, we're going to hear what's really going on for you and work out a plan on how you can finally feel in control of your life, of course, of food, and get to a weight and a shape that you love so that you're no longer going to feel like a victim to this pattern anymore. Now, the cost for this session for you is free. So who is this session for once we get on the phone? Well, it's for anyone who is sick and tired because you have been trying to lose the same pounds over and over again. You're tired of it. Now you now know, you've come to that point, you've come to that first shift, in fact, where you know that change is now a must. You've decided that now is your time. You're not going to waste any more time. And you also know that you are coachable, that you have got what it takes to be committed to solving this problem and to looking within of what's really going on for you so that you can finally be physically and emotionally well. Now you know that there is more to you than what is showing up in life, and that you are now ready to unleash yourself, to rise up, to live your life to a higher standard and no longer settle for what you've been settling for. Okay, so if you feel that this is you, that you are now ready, then do book a session with me now. Now, many people say to me, okay, why are you doing this? I mean, this has been your life for so long. Why are you still doing this? The reason I'm still doing this is because I know your pain. I know your suffering. I've been there. And I know that it feels like hell at times. But I also know what life is like on the other side. Now, I have spent nearly my entire life fixing this problem. It has been the hardest thing to work through, but I've done it. I know what life is like on the other side, and I want to save you time and money so that you can fix this right now. I know I have got something to share. I also know the value of life. I know that life can change in an instant, and then things become too late. Plus, I know the value of having the right mentor, and that you now might be ready to step up in your life, and that you may now want my help in order to do this. So if this is you, and you are ready to have this phone call, then we can discuss all of this, and if it is a good fit for both of us, then that is great. But look, if it's not, then that's fine too. We would have had a great conversation, and I would have served you on this phone call anyway. So how do you book this call? Well, it's pretty simple, really. There is the link. tanyaunkovich.co.nz/talk. That is the link that will take you directly through to my booking page. Or alternatively, you can see a button there on your screen that if you click on that, that will also take you through to my booking page. Now, once you get through to my booking page, you will see that you can select your time zone, and then you'll be able to select a time that suits you. That is available in my calendar for the next couple of days. Select the best time for you, and then simply book that call. This is where you also need to just give me your name and the contact details so that I can call you. So please give me your phone number or your Skype address, and also put in as many details as you need so that I can be prepared for the call. I want to serve you as much as I can when we get on the call. So the more that you let me know about yourself and what's really going on for you and how this problem is affecting your life right now, the best I can prepare and give you the most value during our call. Okay, it's as simple as that. Simply go to this link or push that button that you see on your screen right now. It'll take you through to my booking page, put in the details that I need, and simply wait for the call. Okay, I'm going to sign off for now. I trust that this presentation has served you. I trust that you have enjoyed it. I look forward to hearing from you. So bye for now.